Trying to reinvent the wheel is not only one of the most time-consuming things you can do. 9 times out of 10, it just never works. Now, luckily for you, if you're trying to build a profitable funnel, I've actually just broken down my previous video where I break down Nero's whole funnel and basically made a list of the most important things that you can take away, so you don't need to reinvent the wheel and you can just start implementing straight away to get some quick wins. Now, this guy has built a $1.8 million funnel, selling identity, belief, and energy transformations. No ads, no closers, no high pressure sales. Here's what you can copy from Nero's funnel, especially if you're selling coaching or digital offers, right? So let's get straight into this. By the way, check out my previous video. I'll put it somewhere up here. I'm not going to go through the whole context because I went through all of that before, but essentially, he's made $150,000 plus per month at this point, 300,000 followers across multiple platforms, published book, viral videos, helped 6-figure athletes, entrepreneurs, Hollywood actors, all that good stuff. So now let's get straight into this, okay? Now, first and foremost, when it comes to traffic, right, when it actually comes to making content, right, it's better to be different than to be better, right? So he started off, with faceless content. This is Nero, by the way, and it never took off. Now his channel exploded when he went for the raw, authentic videos, kind of long form, where he could just be himself, right? He can be himself. He can convey that information in a way that's original, in a way that he shares his points of view, but still allows him to flex his knowledge, right? And this led to viral videos, which then indoctrinated people into his ecosystem. So he had a cross-pollination strategy where you watch YouTube videos, TikToks, you get onto his newsletter, IG stories, so on and so forth. And again, the main takeaway from this is so important, especially for anyone making content. It's better to be different than to be better, right? It's better to be different than to be better. We live in an attention economy. If you can garner attention by being different, you will get more eyeballs to your offer, right? It's not rocket science. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. And being different, what does that mean? It literally means just being yourself, right? Just be yourself. You don't need to be perfect, especially if you're in a saturated market. This is where it's going to be the most crucial that you do this, right? Because you're going to stand out, right? It's not rocket science, as I said, right? Next, we have his actual value ladder, right? So he doesn't just sell coaching, right? He sells a transformation, right? And one thing that I've noticed with his funnel, his value ladder is mapped to different levels of awareness and income levels. So he has an ideal client profile for every single stage, right? So his free content, which is his YouTube videos, as you can see here, his YouTube videos is for kind of anyone and everyone, right? And it focuses on identity shifting ideas. Then his book, right, is a gateway to deeper frameworks. Then his mid-ticket product, right, his digital products, is where the belief, what he's trying to teach about creating and controlling your reality, starts to kind of lean more into making money online. And his highest ticket offer is for his perfect ideal client profile, entrepreneurs, actors, and they're qualified at a certain revenue ceiling, right? So the main takeaway from this is not only do you need to build a value ladder, but be very clear on guiding the ICP up through the range of products, right? So as it gets closer to the highest ticket, it gets closer to your ideal client profile, right? This is where you're able to create a product which is actually focused in order to get results for one person. You're better off solving a problem for one person instead of trying to solve a problem for 50 people, because then you need 50 products, which means 50 layers of complexity, and complexity doesn't scale, simplicity scales. And that's one thing that you can take away, right? Number 3, now this is especially for his mid-ticket. You don't need a big sales team in order to close deals, right? Nero's long-form YouTube videos are his best and most profitable, sales team. That's his salesperson right there. He doesn't use sales calls, at least for his mid-ticket offer. And he just uses belief-driven funnels, right? He has testimonials to back it up, VSL page, all that kind of good stuff. But essentially, his content is supposed to build so much trust, overwhelming trust, that you don't need a team of closers, right? So the point is, not only do you need to be different, but have enough content and authority in there, because what you have to understand is there's a threshold of confidence that somebody has in you before they ever buy a product, right? If that threshold isn't met, they will never buy, right? Let's say it's here, right? And their confidence levels is here, they're never going to buy from you. What Nero's done with his content is he's exceeded that threshold. So much so to the point that he's not having to convince people to buy stuff from him, right? People are chasing him to buy, right? And that's how essentially he's closing without closers. He's really mastered how to build sales assets to work for him, right? Within the whole ecosystem of his funnel, right? So final takeaways: use YouTube to build long form trust, right? If you're not on YouTube, which is why I'm on YouTube, I've started because I've understood the power of this. And I thought, instead of just building, careers for other people, why not take the same principles and build it for myself, right? Be polarizing, be authentic, be whatever, be you. Don't try to copy what someone else is doing, because people will sniff it, right? And it's not going to be authentic. And that's not how you're going to stand out, right? Tailor your offer to the level of belief, not just budget, right? So instead of just building low ticket product, mid ticket product, high ticket product, what are the beliefs for every single stage, right? What is holding them back the most, right? What are they going to struggle with? Do they actually have different needs and trust? So don't just think high ticket is what I charge the most for, but you have to understand, what level of awareness are they going to have, and how is my product going to help and communicate with that person the best, right? How is that message going to get to them the best, right? And understand, again, your content is your closer. Your content is the best sales team you'll ever have, right? So you can have 3 pieces of videos, 3 bits of content on your profile. That's essentially like having a 3-person sales team. Or you can just front load it with 50, 60, 70 plus videos of just value, pure value. And you can use your email list to follow up and stuff like that as well. Use social proof, all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, I really just made this video to summarize the last video, the Nero Knowledge full funnel breakdown video. Again, check that out, because this will make more sense once you've watched that. But I wanted to summarize this in less than 8 minutes, just so you can have a quick point of reference to take away the main bits that are really going to push and move the needle forward. Now, listen up. If you're a coach, if you're a creator, if you found this valuable or useful in any way, like, comment, subscribe. Of course, plenty more coming on the way. And if you want a free audit, there's a link below in the bio. Click that, book a free audit. We'll see any ways that we can help you scale, help you kind of boost the traffic to your pages, your front end, your back end, anything like that. But I wanted to keep this under 8 minutes. So with that being said, I'm gone. Peace.